Dragon Ball as a franchise in general has a lot of characters to love, and generally as a rule of thumb, a lot of characters do get said love. However, there are a few exceptions to that rule. Today's video is going to be me ranting pretty much about the worst offender in this category. My man Tien is probably the most hated character in Dragon Ball by the actual creators and writers of Dragon Ball. You probably thought that I was going to say like Yamcha here, but they love Yamcha infinitely more than they love Tien. Like, the difference is quite literally night and day. But why do they not like Tien? There is a common theory that is often posted online about this, which states that Tien is disliked by the writers because he is pretty closely modeled after Chinese martial artists. And if you know anything about the history between China and Japan, they don't tend to particularly like one another, even today in some instances. So the theory pretty much suggests that they hate Tien because they see him as Chinese or a Chinese symbol or like anything closely related to Chinese culture. This theory has one major massive plot hole though. If there is any character in Dragon Ball that is blatantly modeled after Chinese legends and martial arts, it's fucking Goku. He is literally Sun Wukong, the Chinese legend of the Monkey King from, I believe, like Journey to the West. This entire theory just does not seem very likely to be true if you ask me, but you know, I can't know for sure. But what is true is that Tien is definitely not liked as much as the other characters by the writing staff of Dragon Ball. To name just a few things they completely cocked Tien with. They just totally forgot about the existence of his love interest. Launch was quite literally Thanos snapped out of existence and Tien was just forced to kind of sit there and watch. Like, okay, cool. And man, they hyped my man up so hard in the 22nd World Tournament and even had him beat Goku, only for him to just become completely irrelevant the next saga. Like, he just had one moment to shine and they weren't going to give him anything more than that. Sure, he did some things in the Demon King Piccolo saga, such as failing the Mafuba, getting his ass beat by Drum, and they really did not want to have this man catch a second W. Like, it's pretty blatantly like obvious they just don't like him. Then they have Nappa just obliterate him so bad that his full power attack doesn't even do any real damage to Nappa. Instead it just kills himself. Like, he did admittedly do one pretty cool thing in the Cell saga. Well, two things if you count the anime only content. He held off second form Cell, which was pretty damn epic. Like, I don't think there's anybody that hates that scene. It's just a cool scene, be honest. And in the anime only bits of the Cell saga, he and Yamcha protect Goku from the Cell Juniors, which was also a very cool scene to see. Just have the weaker Earthlings actually protect Goku because they're friends, you know? It's something that I feel could be used a bit more. And then they have him getting one shot in the Buu saga. They actually grew so tired of having to think up content with Tien in it that they basically wrote him out of GT completely. I think he has like 2, maybe 3 appearances in GT, and he does absolutely jack fucking shit nothing in the entirety of GT period. At the very least, they kept his jacked up design in GT, which is the literal only saving grace in that entire part of Tien's career, basically. Because once Super came around, Tien started looking like a malnourished albino. Like, seriously, they completely ruined his design. Like, him being jacked seemed so fitting for a guy who spends all day working out. But no, they had him go on a my 600-pound life, 1200 calorie a day diet supervised by Dr. Now. But enough about how they massacred my boy. Think to yourself for a couple of seconds and ask yourself, what has Tien actually done in Dragon Ball Super? He did nothing but get smacked up and act like a background character in Resurrection F and Battle of Gods. He did literally nothing in the Universe 6 saga. He did literally nothing in the Future saga. And when the Tournament of Power saga came around, they actually had me excited for a bit. Like, they bamboozled me good by including Tien in Universe 7's roster. Like, I will freely admit, they had me. They caught me off guard. Like, they had my attention. But all he ended up doing was beat background character 43, getting caught off guard by said background character, and having to eliminate himself as well in order to correct his fuck up. And then, to add insult to injury, he gets outshined by bloody Yamcha in the Moro saga. And don't get me wrong, I like Yamcha, I love the guy, but there is not a universe in existence where Yamcha should outperform Tien, man. Like, it's just not realistic. Come on now. Yamcha, the baseball dude who trained like 2 months with Gohan and Piccolo, suddenly actually outperforms Tien, who trains every single fucking day. Make it make sense. And then in the Granola Saga, the High School Saga, and the Superhero Saga, he barely makes any appearances, if any at all. And all of this is just such a shame, because Tien is a really cool character. For example, did you know Tien is not a pure Earthling? He is actually descended from the alien Triclops race many generations back. There are a surprising amount of people that seemingly do not know about this interesting bit of trivia. This would have been a very interesting subplot to maybe even explore in something like non-filler, but just give him something. Tien has also either invented or was the first person to use various key techniques we still see in the franchise today. Tien and Chiaotzu were the first characters to fly in the series using ki. Tien invented the volleyball technique we see Gotenks use. Tien invented the 4 witches and multiform technique. I do have to note here that the 4 witches technique is pretty much only usable by Tien because he has the Triclops biology, which does mean he has access to the actual arms, but he still created it. It's still a very interesting technique to watch. And Tien can use the canonically strongest ki attack in the entire franchise, this being the Tri-Beam attack. Tien invented the solar flare technique, etc. Tien is an incredibly important character in setting the foundation of modern day Dragon Ball, but all he gets in return for this is a big fat nothing. I am sure you have seen those Tien memes on Twitter where he gets these ridiculous like God Kaioken forms or whatever. I'll play them on screen if I can find them here, and obviously these are all jokes, like we get that, it's not meant to be serious, but they could have given him something. Have Tien learn the Kaioken. He doesn't have to win every fight. I understand that would be unrealistic, but they could easily have him hold down the fort until backup arrives with the other Earthlings. They could even have him surprise and damage an opponent with the Tri-Beam, because we've seen it works on people many times stronger than him to at least keep them at bay. The thing that bothers me the most is that Tien is probably the most heroic character with the most amount of grit and discipline, and just overall heart in the entire franchise. But they just refuse to give him even basic screen time for most of the later Dragon Ball installments. Tien and Yamcha are my favorite characters in the whole show, so obviously I am incredibly biased. But I don't think I said a single unrealistic and untrue thing in this entire video. I mean, is it just me who thinks this way? I don't see a lot of Tien fans, quote unquote, online, but I can't be the only one who just feels like they completely wasted his entire existence. Be sure to let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below, because I'm very curious if I'm just an idiot. I mean, yes, I know I am, but you also know what I mean, right? So share your opinions down below. I'm very curious what you guys, my viewers, think. But with that being said, guys, thank you all so much for taking the time out of your day to watch my videos. It really means a lot to me. Like, I say this every video, and I always say like, oh yeah, and you know, I always say this, but I do mean it. Like, being able to just sit here and record my opinion on stuff and have people actually watch it, listen to it, and interact with it in a meaningful way means a lot to me, because, you know, I never envisioned this when I started my channel. I started this channel as just a way to essentially kill time, and also just like keep my skills in stuff like Adobe, you know, a bit fresh, I suppose. I never thought I would even get 100 subscribers, being completely honest there, but to be like closer to 7,000 subscribers, I never imagined it as even being realistically possible. But yeah, thank you guys. Like, I'm really bad at this. Like, I'm not sure how to say stuff like this, but yeah, just thank you. So yeah, if you liked today's video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to just never miss another video ever again. Work hard, study well, and eat and sleep plenty, and I will see you all again in the next video. Peace out.